We're back over at the marina again. Sunday afternoon, early January. As you can see, there's quite a bit of snow here. So my first job is to get the snow off the boat, and then I'll show you what the project is for today. And I wanted to show you something. If any of you guys are thinking about tackling any kind of a boat project, one of the people in a Facebook group that I'm a part of pointed me to a book, and I think any of you that might be trying to do this ought to grab this book. It's extremely informative, lots of information on all the processes around working on boats. This is it, but made by Wet Systems. Pretty inexpensive. I think it was like that, maybe a little more than $5. I picked it up at West Marine, and I've just started reading it, but I can tell you that it does cover everything. So definitely grab it. It was a really good heads up being pointed to this. So here it is for you guys as well. So last week's project, you can see these bulkheads laying here. That's the bulkhead that went between the V-berth and the head, that little skinny piece wraps around the door. The other portion is laying right behind it. And you can see that I have this all opened up now. I've got a little bit of cleanup, edges of the tabbing where the bulkhead's attached. On the last project that I have to do before I can start putting these things back together, and that's today's project. We'll see how far I get. It's these Portlights. You see this 2 down there that open, and there are 2 back here. The wood in between these 2 layers, and I know I've pointed this out before, the wood between these 2 layers right in here is just gone. There's nothing there. So I'm going to cut through the fiberglass. I'm going to bring it back hopefully 3 or 4 inches all the way around, and my intention is to build that all back up with glass once I get back to good material, good plywood, and hopefully that'll do the trick. And then when my screws that hold the Portlights in go back in, they won't be going into wood, and that'll prevent that rot issue from reoccurring in the future. So that's the plan, unless of course I find that the wood is degraded further back in. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then hopefully I'll be able to get to it from the inside. If not, I have brought plastic and Gorilla Tape. You see sitting right here in the galley. I mean, it is winter. I really don't want to have to open the boat up and expose it to weather. But if I have to, I'll pull the Portlights completely from the outside and use that plastic and Gorilla Tape around the holes to keep it as protected as it can be for now, while I go through this process here. Once this is done, it's fiberglass time. I need to rebuild this whole section right here, get the Portlights back in, the new Portlights. They're actually in this locker right here behind the galley. So that's where we're headed. These 4 Portlights, replace the wood, get the Portlights back in, and that will take care of the leaking issues in this particular part of the boat. And then in the next week or 2, I'll be using these pieces of the old bulkheads the best I can to re-template and rebuild those bulkheads, and then we'll be able to glass them back in place. All right, let's get to work.
Well, it's time for a change. I'm tired of that same old words, the same old lines, the same old tricks, and the same old rhymes. It's days, precious days. They roll got planks to nail, I got charts to measure, and I got seas to sail. I'm gonna build me a boat with these two hands. It'll be a fair curve from a noble plan. Let the chips fall where they will, 'cause I've got boats to build. Our sails are just like wings, and the wind make them sing.
Started pulling apart the cabin top sides. We're down to the outer skin of the cabin top here, as you can see. I did remove all of the plywood that was in there. It's all soaked all the way back into the corner here before I finally found some dry, well bonded, not rotten fiberglass. It does appear like the layer that comes through under the deck here might be okay. You can't really see it, but that seems to be pretty solid. It is a little moist. Dry it out. And then as I got down here toward the bow, this is a little bit better bonded, but it's not great. I'm taking it all out. It's soaking wet, but it doesn't feel quite as rotten as the stuff in the back. So I pulled the Portlights out. I did stick them in backwards from the outside, just so they wouldn't fall, and keep some weather out of that hole. And that's all got to come out. All that plywood all the way through, and that probably doesn't need to come out. I'm up in the V-berth now, if you can't tell. That probably could stay solid. So close to the end, I'll probably just take it all out and put it all in fresh, and then I won't need to worry about it for maybe another 40 years. Sorry, it is dark in spots, but I don't know if you can see just how much water is coming out of this stuff. It does feel more solid, but it's going anyway. So this is going to be fresh all the way along here. Fresh plywood all the way up into the V-berth. And around all four of these Portlights, I'm going to see where the screws are coming through the outer skin there. I'm going to wrap fiberglass tape around all of them and screw into the tape and epoxy the screws in place, and 5200 on the outside to make sure those don't leak again. So that's it. It was worse than I was hoping. When I started, I thought maybe I'd find some good wood in the middle, but I can't say that I'm surprised that I did not. So I'll sleep better knowing that that's done once and for all. It does take a while, and it's getting dark out again, so it's hard to see, but that's it. That's what I got accomplished today. So as always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.